What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk to you guys about a concept that is big to me, and it's part of how I like to lead my life. And when I don't do this thing, it actually has real significant negative impact on my life. It's one of my core tenets, the way I have to behave. And that is, tomorrow becomes never. What do I mean by that? Well, hold on, before I forget. One, there are now playlists at the channel. So if you're into truck talks, go to the truck talk playlist. If you're into the walk-in talks, go to the philosophy playlist. If you're into gear reviews, go to the gear reviews. If you like the Shabbat Bible readings, you can go read that, right? Or go watch that. And ideally read that too, read along. But there are now playlists at the channel, updated as my hectic schedule allows, but they are there. There's, a dozen of them. Two, if you have something going on and you would like it covered in prayer, email me, ntxmag@gmail. November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf @gmail.com. That's all I'm going to say on that. You send it to me, we will get it covered in prayer. We have an ongoing prayer list and prayer journal, and the Father is good. I will just say that. So, those two things first. Now, tomorrow becomes never. What does that mean? How many times have you put something off that you knew you were supposed to do and you didn't do it? Let's walk underneath this choke cherry tree. Aspen likes licking these things. You knew, stay on target, T. Sorry. It's so hard, look at the little tiny cherry. No, they suck. How many times did you know you were supposed to be doing something and you weren't doing it? Or, I'm going to do that today, and you didn't. So part of that is people, myself included, have a hard time sometimes prioritizing. This is what I need to do. This is what I don't need to do. Writing down a list of things you don't need to do is just as effective, if not more effective, than writing down a list of things you do need to do. So I'll give you that nugget first. Next, I'll say that you need to prioritize and execute, but before you can prioritize and execute, you need to identify the targets. What do you need to be doing, right? So you got to make a list. Write down 10 things you need to do. Put a star next to 2 or 3 of them. Those are your first things that you're going to do. Now execute. Okay. Because otherwise tomorrow becomes never. It never happens. You never get it done. That's important because in our preparedness lifestyle, this neo-pioneering modern homesteading thing that we're doing, I mean, we're homesteading, but look, there's electricity, right? Just because I can cut trees down with an axe doesn't mean I do cut trees down with an axe when it matters. I tend to use a chainsaw for that. But in this preparedness lifestyle that we lead, there's lots of things that we can be doing and should be doing on a regular basis that we forget or we put off, or I will do that then. Now, this is outside of budgetary issues, monetary requirements. This is, you have the money to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And that's a whole nother subject for another time. In fact, I'd make great content, where to get the money to prep. We've touched on that before on this channel. Maybe we'll go back to it. But, wow, scatterbrain tea. Focus! Need more coffee. Prioritize and execute. Prioritize what? Your list. Your do list, your don't do list. Once you have the money to do something, then do it. There's a school of thought, and I am amongst this school of thought. If something takes 5 minutes or less to do it right now. If you have on your to-do list something that only takes 5 minutes, do it. Just stop what you're doing and do it right now, and then cross it off. If something comes up throughout the course of the day that just takes 5 minutes to do it right now. So a little back end insight into our lives with this YouTube thing and this Patreon thing and now this podcasting thing. The previous allotment of iPhone lightning cables, charger cables, was great. Excellent ratio of iPhones to charger cables. Now, not so much. And so for a couple of weeks, we've been doing battle over charger cables. So just the other day, I looked at my wife and she was like, you had one phone on this charger and one phone on that charger. And I said, okay, hold on. Pull my phone out. Amazon. Boom. 5 more cables and 2 more bases on the way. Done. It took me 90 seconds. So I ascribe to that school of thought. If you can handle it now, handle it now. Get it off your plate. It's done and it's gone and it's away. What about the remainder, the bigger things? Tomorrow becomes never. Well, food storage, for example. Very few of us can go out and buy a year's worth of food right now. Click the link. Boom. Year's worth of food. Amazon Prime. It'll be here in 2 days or whatever, right? So we have to eat that elephant one bite at a time. So these are different strategies you can use to attack different problems. The small things, do them right now. The big things, a little at a time. My wife is taking grandma grocery shopping right now. And every time we go to the store, there are 2 directives. Buy what we need for the house and then buy prepper food. Now, prepper food is terminology. Again, I don't like the word prepper, but when I say buy prepper food, and in fact, I said in a different video that I'm done using that word, so I need to take this up with my wife. We're done using this word. Preparedness food. When I tell her to buy preparedness food, she knows what I mean. She knows that we're doing a bucket full of 1-pound bags of beans right now, and you can never go wrong with buying rice. And because of this one meal plan that we're putting together for a year-long meal plan, we need to get X number of jars of this or cans of that or boxes of this or whatever. She and I are on the same page with that. So prepper food is always on the list. And when we go to the store, if we'll say hypothetically my grocery bill would be $180 at the store, we'll round that up to $200 with prepper food. Every time. I go buy milk. And I'm like, milk and 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese. Put it on the shelf. Or milk and 10 pounds of rice. Milk and a 2-pound sack of pinto beans or whatever. Like every time I go, we buy prepper food. Preparedness food. Yep. You do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Preparedness food. So eat that elephant one bite at a time. A lot of people, again, getting back to the prioritize and execute, get overwhelmed, right? And they suffer from paralysis by analysis. They get stuck. There's so many things to do, they can't do anything. So write it down. Write down what you're going to do. Write down what you're not going to do. And be very conscientious of, am I being busy or am I being effective? Because they're not the same thing. And we as Americans are really bad at that. How many people here have jobs where a large portion of your day is responding to email and I don't mean this towards y'all. I'm talking about corporate America here, so simmer, okay? Corporate America, you're sitting in your cube or your office. How much of your day is spent sitting at your desk, looking at the screen, reading and replying to useless emails? Useless. Or sitting in meetings where your time would be better spent somewhere else doing something else. You're busy, but that's not an effective use of your time. So understand the difference between the two, and you combine that with your prioritize and execute, and now all of a sudden you're getting things done. So what was it? William of Ockham, Occum, of Occam's razor fame in the 1300s. Sir William of Ockham said it is vanity to do with more what can be done with less. Agreed, Billy. Good job. Tight. So when you're overwhelmed and you're sitting there spinning your wheels, being busy but not being productive, remember William of Ockham from 800 years ago slapping you in your brain matter saying, stop. If you can do it with less, do it with less. Be efficient with your time. Be effective at getting things done. Don't just, well, I'm at my desk, I might as well do this, this, and this. Man, you could be at your desk with 42 tabs open on one browser that are all work, and then another one open, incognito tab, sitting there proofreading for, $26 an hour. Just saying. Now you got prepper money, preparedness money. Oh, we will break this habit. So be very conscientious and aware of what you put off and why. If you can do it now, do it now. If you have the money and it takes less than 5 minutes, do it right now. If you don't have the money, figure out where you're going to get the money from and it takes less than 5 minutes, then do it immediately once you have the money. If it's a bigger long-term thing like food storage, set benchmarks and hit them. Or, I talk a lot about food storage. You know what I'm into, but I don't talk a lot about? Storing ammo. If your benchmark is 1,000 rounds, buy 1,000 rounds. Now, it's going to be way cheaper. You buy them in bulk, but for some people, you just don't have that much scratch at one time. So get them 50-round box at a time. And then when that boom, 50-round box is 20 boxes, that's 1,000 rounds. Maybe it's, 115 grain jacketed, or not jacketed, FMJs for your 9mm, right? Or 124 grain JHPs for your 9mm, or 55 grain FMJs for your 5.56, or whatever, man. Buckshot. Maybe it's buckshot. Whatever your thing is, right? Break it up into little bite-sized pieces and then, rejoice. I set arbitrary benchmarks all the time. When I get to 25%, man, I'm going to be happy, right? And I will literally take 5 minutes and just be like, boom. Let the sun shine down on you. I'm happy. Move on to the next thing. So, set benchmarks, rejoice, be happy, chill, man. But don't push out too far. Don't chill too hard. It does a body good to stay in motion. It does a body good to continue to set goals and achieve those goals. And prioritize and execute, obviously. Don't postpone. George Washington said it's better to do today, or it's better to do today what can be done today rather than do it tomorrow, to paraphrase, or something like that. Why do tomorrow what can be done today? That's what he said. Tomorrow becomes never. So hopefully for us as preparedness people, tomorrow always comes. Tomorrow never turns into never. Just kidding. Hopefully it never comes to that for us. But in the meanwhile, while we're here in the meat world doing these things, stay busy, develop a plan, execute that plan, get things done, right? There's a thought in my brain that I'm trying to get out of my brain that I've touched on a few times and it never quite made it out of my mouth, and I'm standing here feeling unfulfilled and having not gotten it out of my mouth, and I'm trying. Maybe the Spirit's not ready for me to give it to you yet. Maybe I'm not ready for the Spirit to give it to me to give to you yet. I don't know, but it's in there and it wants to come out, but I can't quite get it out of there. So that'll be that. But too long didn't read. Don't lollygag. TLDR. Don't lollygag. Get things done. Break things up into bite-sized pieces and do them. If you can do them quickly, and you can do them now with minimal effort, do it. Prioritize and execute. Make things happen. Fortune favors the bold. And all those other things. I got stuff to do. Shalom. Ha! I remembered. I went into Grandma's house to do something, and while I was in there, it hit me. And then it occurred to me, I was like, oh yeah, that's what we were talking about on Patreon this morning. Barrier to entry, $1, the best value equation on the internet. There, you got the spiel. Patreon.com, search for Squid and Bear. Shut up, Canes. They were doing this. From the wind. So, shut up, T. Tell me the thing. What was the thing? I need another thing. One of the things that I use to get things done for me in my life as a forcing mechanism is to set short, aggressive timelines. If something's important and it needs to get done, you need to do it now. Set a short, aggressive timeline. And by now, I mean within the next, if you have a month to get something done, give yourself 10 days. How many times have you needed to leave early from work and your boss is like, yeah, you can leave 2 hours early as long as you get all your stuff done. Now all of a sudden what normally takes you 8 hours took you 6. Or it's 10 a.m. and you need to go, and he's like, yeah, look, I really need that report, and that report's done by 11 instead of 5 because you had a short, aggressive deadline. Now, the cool thing with that, too, is the more often you do that, you put yourself into these bursts of short, aggressive work periods, you end up with more long, leisurely rest periods. Now, that's a whole nother story. That's a lifestyle thing, not a preparedness thing. But set short, aggressive timelines and goals. I'm going to do, hypothetically, for the next 10 days, every time I leave the house, I'm going to buy something related to preparedness, neo-pioneering, modern homesteading, every time. Doesn't matter what it is. Well, I was only at the gas station. Okay, did you buy a Bic lighter while you were there? Or the Clipper? The Clipper lighter? What's that? That's over on Patreon. Wink. See what I did there? That's called a sales pitch. I'm just going to the feed store. I bet they have sharpening stones, baling wire, cordage, feed for your animals, whatever. Shut up, wind. I'm trying to talk to the people. So set short, aggressive timelines. Well, I'm just going to the grocery store. Don't even get me started on the grocery store. I could buy most of what's in the grocery store and make it applicable to preparedness. But you can use that as a forcing mechanism in your life for all kinds of things. And just be amazed by how much you get done. If you like, and don't give yourself an easy out either. Well, I really need it by Tuesday, but it's okay if it's on Thursday. No, it's not okay. Tuesday. Tuesday means Tuesday. If it's 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, that's still Tuesday. But it will not be Wednesday. It certainly won't be Thursday. You have so much more capacity in you for brilliance than most of us give ourselves credit for. You can do that thing. Whatever that thing is, you can do it. Go do it. Says the guy in Arklatex, holding a sideways iPhone. You can re-engineer your life. And one of the ways you can do that is aggressive forcing mechanisms, like short timelines. And you can absolutely apply that to preparedness. TGSD, get stuff done. So with that, shalom.